Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Gamma's Future Vision podcast series, where Colin Lees and I, Gamma's Chief Technology Officer, are talking about things that are impacting the business communications market today. Today, we're going to talk about a topic which is very dear to Colin's heart. I know this from conversations he and I have a lot, which is the rollout of fibre to the premise as the connectivity powerhouse in the UK. So, Colin, welcome back to the Future Vision podcast. Great to talk again. FTTP. I know you might want to give a bit of intro of your background on this and why you're an authority on it. Yeah.
There's a bit of a disclaimer here, a bit of a bias I have, Chris, which is prior to joining Gamma a year ago, I spent the previous 5 years of my life designing and building the network and IT solutions that underpinned the Openreach fibre build. And that was a wonderful program. I mean, I remember we started designing fibre solutions on bits of paper and finished with automated apps and more than 10 million premises passed. So I have a big bias when it comes to my love of FTTP.
So you've obviously lived this dream. You understand it from a very deep perspective. If you're talking to a business now and they are going, but the internet works today, why is it important for UK PLC to be thinking about FTTP, taking on board fibre and going through this inevitable feeling of disruption?
Yeah, well, I think for me, there's a backstop to this conversation, which is that ultimately the copper network will close and all homes and business premises in the UK will move to fibre. And that's happening already. It's happening at a rate of knots. Fibre is now well past 15 million premises with Openreach, but if you added up the total fibre footprint in the UK, it's probably double that. So fibre is coming. And so for me, it's really only a question. In 10 years' time, I don't believe there will be many copper services left at all. So all businesses at some point over the next 10 years will move to fibre. And I expect that we'll see more and more exchanges switching to fibre and stopping the sale of copper. So I think it is inevitable, is the first thing. The only question is at what pace will it happen and why? And that comes back to your question. So if I'm a business in the UK, what might be the drivers to move to fibre? And I think that the biggest driver for me in the short term is as businesses adopt more cloud-based technology, so CRM platforms are becoming more common, or we might use a finance package in the cloud, or we might use the Microsoft suite. All of a sudden, those are use cases that require high bandwidth, both up and down, to have a consistent experience, or indeed to respond quickly enough. Because if you're sat with a customer and suddenly you need an instant response, that drives the need for a higher bandwidth. So I think it'll be the businesses that want to adopt those modern technologies to future-proof themselves. They'll move first, but ultimately over the next decade, every business in the UK will move from copper to fibre. And I think it's incumbent upon us in Gamma to make that move as seamless as possible and to help people exploit what a higher bandwidth connection can do for them.
I suspect people watching to this, listening to this will say, but you're driving the adoption of these cloud technologies, so you're part of the solution and the problem at the same time. But the reality is, we were chatting earlier, weren't we, about what happened around COVID. People working from home, or people actually not just working from home, but working from so many different locations. And like you were saying, our expectation as employees is that we can access everything that we can access in any place, in every place. You can't do that, can you, without fibre really underpinning all of this?
No, not if we're going to have high quality video calls in parallel with using the Microsoft Office suite, in parallel with perhaps using 2 or 3 other cloud platforms as well. So I think that'll be the evolution we see. The need for speed will increase, and that'll drive the adoption of fibre. But ultimately, we're all going to wind up there. We just need to manage the transition as well and as seamlessly as possible.
And if you're a business user who's got relatively simple needs, today, you may run your business over a PhoneLine predominantly. Your card machine or your till system may connect through fibre. If you're looking at it going, but I don't need it. What does fibre allow for those voice services or for communication services that perhaps copper doesn't?
I think the single biggest thing that fibre offers initially is it's much more reliable.
Yeah.
So with a fiber connection, it's something of the order of 80% more reliable than a copper connection, both in terms of the consistency of the speed and in terms of the consistency of the connection. The challenge with copper, and I'm going to get a bit geeky here, is if it rains or if it gets cold or if it gets too hot, copper doesn't like that. Fiber is a much more reliable network. So I think, primarily in the early days, that's why I would move to fiber, because I don't want my business to be disrupted by even an hour. Now, what will then happen over time is those applications that you described will need more bandwidth. So in the short term, for me, reliability is a key selling point. In the longer term, you're going to need it to support the needs of your business.
And it's interesting. I mean, you referenced there people sort of unseen technical benefits, but actually will confer real business benefits to people, because an hour's lost trading is pretty damaging to any enterprise, isn't it? The other thing which obviously affects this, and I think which Gamma and your teams have built a great solution to, is the move from a copper-based infrastructure to something which is fiber-based. Do you want to say something about the porting and the ability to wrap applications in there, so that as the local decorator garage or whatever it is, I can be assured of that consistency of move from one place to another?
Sure, and I think this is something our industry is still learning how to deal with. So moving from a copper to a fiber line, understanding if you're a sole trader or a small business, how do you make sure that the landline number on the side of your van actually still works when you move across to your new fiber connection? I think those are the problems that we need to solve for. So I'm excited actually about our roadmap for this year. The first thing that we have coming is a new version of our PhoneLine Plus product, which will allow you to keep your landline and use it with a much better, more rich experience, including WhatsApp integration. I also love what we're doing with Webex. So if you're a larger business, again, if you move from copper to fiber, in doing so, and you can adopt a modern, feature-rich platform which will enhance your business. Now, the thing that we're doing as well this year is launching a new set of fiber products. And as part of that, we're using our new technology stack. And in that, we're building automated porting. So we're making sure that we tack on to our fiber order journey a seamless porting experience to the Gamma UCaaS platform of your choice, whether that's PhoneLine Plus or Apex or Horizon with Webex, or indeed Webex when we launch that later on in the year. So I think that's how I think about it. It's how do we make sure that, number one, the order journey is easy. Number two, the porting journey is easy. And really importantly, the customer then gets a better phone line experience as well as a connectivity product.
That was the second of our podcasts, of Future Vision podcasts with Colin, talking about the move to fiber to the premise in the UK. I think key summary take I would give of that is the internet won't slow down when it rains, which is a simple benefit, but actually will make quite a big difference to businesses across the place. And Gamma is a good place for you to move from your legacy infrastructure to your future. Please tune in. The next one we're going to talk about is actually a good partner to the FTTP conversation we just had, which is how do we cope with staying connected when we're out and about on the move? Where do mobile solutions work for us? So thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.